Welcome, all you twisted freaks, to the darkest part of the internet, the deep web. We're back for this next installation of Insomniac Theatre, where I bring you the most twisted tales from the most messed up minds out there. Tonight's truly terrifying tale comes to us from Short Story 1 on No Sleep. It's called Stephen Had a Unique Way of Passing on His Genes. I've been following some guy lately who's known for getting into relationships with single mothers. He has a great job, and I came to know the guy as I work in the police force, and many single mothers have complained about him. But all complaints have been largely ignored due to the strangeness of it all. I guess being in the police force, you hear many strange things and you meet many unusual people, and there is a saying in the police force, the more you experience and deal with, the more of a story you can tell by the end of your career. What they mean is when you retire as a police officer, you can write a book about your experiences as a police officer and make money out of it. Anyhow, back to the story. The first single mother we had call in about this guy who I will call Stephen was a woman who I will call single mother. I need to protect their identities. I'm sure a lot of you will understand. Single mother calls in and she was crying because of something Stephen did. But that was the problem. She said, "Stephen decided he wanted to be in a relationship with me and be a father to my children," she cried out. "They don't belong to me or my ex-husband anymore," she blurted out even more. Then single mother A, that's single mother, ex-husband called into the station and angrily told us, "My children don't belong to me anymore." Me and some newbie police officer were sent to check it out. And when I saw single mother's children, they did have resembling features to Stephen as single mother. Had pictures of Stephen, but they looked off at the same time. Let me just reread that. Me and some newbie police officer were sent to check it out, and when I saw single mother's children, they did have resembling features to Stephen as single mother, had pictures of Stephen, but they looked off at the same time. No, that was the sentence. I was confused, and I asked single mother about who the father is. She told me they were her ex-husband's children, not Stephen's. She showed me past pictures of her children, and they all looked nothing like Stephen, but now they all had features that resembled Stephen, and they were even acting like him, even sounding like him. I was thoroughly confused, and Stephen was nowhere to be found. And then there was a second incident with single mother B. She had 2 children, and she left her ex-husband as the relationship just died out. She met Stephen in some bar, and after months of dating, she was overjoyed when Stephen told her that he would like to be in a relationship with her. Then, just like single mother A, her children looked nothing like her or her ex-husband, and the children all had features resembling Stephen physically and emotionally. I went to see her, and her children did look like Stephen, as single mother B had pictures of Stephen. She showed me pictures of her children that were taken in the past, and they looked nothing like Stephen. Something was really off here, and I needed to get to the bottom of this. Stephen was no longer with her and had wandered off again. Then Stephen called I to the station, and he was really honest, and here's what he said. "Hello. I am Stephen. Is there anything wrong passing on your genes to other people's children? I can't pass on my genes the traditional way. The way I pass on my genes is by getting into relationships with single mothers, and as they accept as their new father, husband, or career, their children will have my genes into them. It's all irreversible. All of these single mothers accepted me as their new husband, and their children also accepted me as their new father, and then instinctively, without my control, my genes passed into them to be more like me. Have I done anything wrong by passing on my genes, Inspector? There had been 2 more incidences with 2 more single mothers, and the case had been dropped. Then, after many months, my ex-wife tells me that she found a new man named Stephen. I instantly became concerned for my children, but my ex-wife tells me that I have no right to tell her who she can date. I never saw Stephen, as my ex-wife completely blocked me out. Then, after many more months of this new relationship, my ex-wife calls me and she was crying. Our children look nothing like us, she kept crying out. I drove over there, and both my daughters looked like Stephen. I couldn't believe it. They were even acting like him. Stephen has passed on his genes to my daughters. Wow. That was truly terrifying, everyone. If you ever meet a Stephen, it might be this Stephen. The German had something called the doppelganger, which was an approximation of a human being. Just something to think about. So the next time you run across a Stephen, or your ex tries to get together with somebody else, you gotta put the smack down and say, no more. You dated me. That's it. Your life is over. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another truly terrifying tale from the most darkest, deepest part of the web. Thank you for joining me tonight on Insomniac Theatre, YouTube, Instagram. Try not to freak out, and I hope the nightmares don't get you too hard tonight while we're all in quarantine as we all go a little crazy. Good night.